Good morning to everyone present here. In this video, we are going to look into the concept called amalgamation and absorption. When it comes to amalgamation, we will be looking into the process of what is amalgamation and what are the different types of amalgamation that exists in the market. And then we will be looking into what is absorption and the difference between amalgamation and absorption. So first we will try and understand what do you mean by amalgamation. The word amalgamation in other way it is also called as merger. So what do you mean by a merger is nothing but a combination of two or more companies into a single company. So in case of amalgamation, two companies that are already existing into the market try to liquidate themselves and form as a new company. So the companies that are getting liquidated might be in the same nature of business or a different nature of business. That doesn't matter. Whereas in case of amalgamation, two companies either doing the same kind of business or a different kind of business liquidate themselves in order to form a single entity, and that is called as amalgamation. So the term amalgamation can also be called as a merger. So one of the examples that we could give for amalgamation that was already existing in the market is the amalgamation between a company called Hero, which is an automobile industry, and Honda, which is again an automobile industry. And we have a company that is existing in the market called Hero Honda, where both Honda and Hero has liquidated themselves in order to become a single entity called Hero Honda. Another best example that we could give for merger or amalgamation is the existence of Maruti and Suzuki in the market. Maruti is an Indian automobile industry, whereas Suzuki is a Japanese-based automobile company. So both these companies have merged together in order to manufacture and sell cars in the Indian market under the name called Maruti Suzuki. So this is another best example for amalgamation or otherwise called merger. Now, when you talk about mergers, there are 5 different types of mergers that exist in the market. We have horizontal mergers, we have vertical mergers, we have concentric mergers, conglomerate mergers, and market extension mergers. Now, out of these 5 types of mergers or amalgamations, the 3 types of amalgamation or merger that are commonly found or commonly heard in the practical market are horizontal mergers, vertical mergers, and conglomerate mergers. Now, we'll try and understand what do you mean by a horizontal merger. When you say a horizontal merger, the two companies that are getting liquidated and forming as a single entity will operate in the same market or will carry out the same nature of business. For example, Vodafone being an Indian telecommunication was into telecommunication, and Idea is also into telecommunication. So these two companies merged together in order to become Vodafone Idea India, in order to face the cutthroat competition faced in the market. So when two companies belonging to the same nature of business try to combine and then form as a single entity, we call such kinds of mergers or amalgamations as horizontal merger. Now, the next type that we have is a vertical merger. Now, what do you mean by a vertical merger? When two companies belonging to different levels within the same industrial supply chain merge together, we call it as a vertical merger. That means the nature of business of these two companies might be different, but these companies could help each other in order to improve their business operations. So such kind of merger is called as a vertical merger. Example is Flipkart and Myntra. If you say Myntra is into clothing and apparels, whereas Flipkart is an e-commerce industry. So Flipkart helps Myntra to sell its products online. So such kind of mergers is called as a vertical merger. Now the next type of merger that we have is a conglomerate merger. So a conglomerate merger is very rare or very rarely found because in case of conglomerate mergers, the two companies that combine in order to become a single entity does not relate to each other at all. That means they don't have any connection with each other or they are into entirely different nature of business. So when such companies combine together, we call it as a conglomerate merger. Example, let's take a company that is into clothing and apparels and a company that is into steel manufacturing. So when these two companies combine with each other and try to find a synergic effect out of that. We call such mergers or amalgamations as conglomerate in nature. Since we have seen what is amalgamation and the types of amalgamation that exists in the market, we try and understand what do you mean by absorption. So in case of absorption, here there is no liquidation of companies that is happening, or there is no new company that is being formed. Absorption is a process where one company that is existing in the market and has a good financial position purchases another existing company that is financially weak or which wants to liquidate itself. So such kind of processes is called as absorption or purchase of an existing company by another existing company. So in such cases, you will find the concept of holding company and subsidiary company. The company that is purchasing another company is called as an holding company, and the company that is selling itself to another company is called as a subsidiary company. So in case of absorption, one company tries to dominate another company because the other company is financially weak or is facing some kinds of issues that are very challenging in nature. So such kind of process is called as absorption. Now, since we have seen what is amalgamation and absorption, we will now look into what is the difference between amalgamation and absorption. Now, the first underlying difference between amalgamation and absorption is that in case of amalgamation, a minimum of two companies join in order to become a single entity. Whereas in case of absorption, only one company is taking over the business of another company. So in case of absorption, there is no liquidation process that is happening. Whereas in amalgamation, two companies, a minimum of two companies liquidate themselves and form as a new company. So that process is called as amalgamation. Whereas in absorption, none of the companies try to liquidate, but one company tries to take over the business of another company. Now, the second underlying difference between amalgamation and absorption is that in case of amalgamation, a new company is formed. Whereas in absorption, there is no new company that is being formed because no company gets liquidated in case of absorption. The third difference is that in case of amalgamation, we need at least two companies to liquidate. Only then we can form a new company. Whereas in case of absorption, only one company is being liquidated, that is the company whose business is taken over by the other company. So no new company is formed, but one company liquidates and combines it themselves as with another company that is already existing in the market. The next one is domination. On the basis of domination, we could see that in case of amalgamation, no companies dominate one another, but they try to contribute to each other equally so that they find out some synergic effect out of their amalgamation or merger. Whereas in absorption or in case of amalgamation, example, let's say Maruti and Suzuki. Maruti is a Indian automobile company which had the majority of Indian share markets with them in case of automobile selling earlier. And Suzuki was a company that was well versed in technological advancements. So Maruti shared their market base with Suzuki, and Suzuki has shared their technological base with Maruti. So in case of amalgamation, no company tries to dominate one another, but they try to contribute to each other so that they could find out some synergic effect out of their amalgamation. Whereas in absorption, definitely you would find that one company dominates another company, that is the holding company dominates the subsidiary company which is said to be financially weak or is facing any managerial challenges. So the bigger company dominates the weaker company in case of absorption. So these are the basic underlying differences between amalgamation and absorption. So hope this video is helpful for you to understand on what is amalgamation, the different types of amalgamations or mergers existing in the market, what is absorption, and the basic underlying difference between amalgamation and absorption. Thank you for watching.